and welcome to another history lesson here from the Sandusky Library. Today we're going to talk about how things have changed over time. The word I'm going to use sometimes is artifact. Artifact is just a technical term, a fancy way of saying something that humans make or have made. So I'm going to talk about a few artifacts today, things that look different than what you have in your house today, but we'll talk about a little bit about how we came from the artifact to what we use today. So let's first think about milk. So if you get milk at your house, usually it'll either come in a big plastic jug or it's going to come in a cardboard container. But back in the 1800s, 200 years ago, you're gonna have milk delivered or you're gonna buy it in the store in glass. So this is a glass milk container from a creamery, a place that makes milk here in Sandusky from the 1800s. I know it's a little bit small, but it still held milk. Now, it looks really neat, but the problem with glass is breakable, right? So as the technology came that we could make milk bottles or milk containers out of cardboard and then plastic, we did so because they're durable. We don't have to worry about dropping them or breaking them easily. They're much easier to make than glass. So as things changed, that was easier for them to make containers out of something else. They went to that. Let's talk about toasters now. So you all have toasters at home where you have, take your bread, your bagels, your Pop-Tarts, your waffles, and you put it in your toaster and you push it down and it cooks for a little bit and it comes up all nice and hot, right? Well, they had toasters a long time ago as well. The first toasters would have actually been right in front of a fireplace and you would toast your bread right next to the fire. But I have an example of a toaster from about 100 years ago. Now, you can see, here's the plug. I don't have the cord with me, but this is an electric toaster. It would plug in just like your toaster at home. There are little slots on the side here, and you would put your toast or whatever right in here. And in the middle, where you see those springs, that's where the heat would come from. But if the heat's all in the middle, if you want to toast both sides of your bread or whatever, you would have to take it out, turn it around, and put it back in. And as the technology got better, for us to make a better toaster like we have today, where it's faster, it's more efficient, they did that. They changed to go to that. Another thing that you guys might be a little bit familiar with is baking cookies. And I love cookies, they're awesome. And I have two things that, one of them looks very similar to what we use today, and the other one's changed a little bit. So today, if you're baking at home, your parents are probably using measuring cups to measure out the flour. Well, today those are usually made out of plastic. This is a metal one made from the 1900s. It does the same thing like we have today. We're still scooping flour to measure it, but the big difference is that this is made out of metal and it's going to be not quite as durable as the plastic ones today, but the plastic ones are much easier to make than this, which means they're going to be cheaper than a metal one would be. Another one that we're used to seeing is a cookie cutter. So this is a cookie cutter from the 1900s. As you can see, it's a goose. And we have cookie cutters today. Some of them are made out of metal. Some of them are made out of plastic. And it's an example of something that, while other things have changed over time, cookie cutters, they could be made out of plastic, but they look very similar to these because the idea of how you would cut out cookies to different shapes has stayed the same. So as you can see that we have artifacts or things that we make, they do change over time, but just because they change over time doesn't mean that we still don't want, milk in our home or toast or baking or cookies. It's just as things become easier to make and become better for us to use, they've changed over time. So thank you for joining us for another history lesson here at the Sandusky Library.